All right, everyone, welcome to Apocalypse Movies. My name is Jake Blinn, and I am joined today by Brian Avolicino and Jacob Bartley, and we are here to do the top 5 worst films of 2017. Now, these aren't the consensus list of Apocalypse movies. These are our personal opinions. They could be the highest rated movies on Rotten Tomatoes, but we can personally just dislike them to the core. It is our personal opinion. Don't hate us in the comments. Let's have a conversation about them, talk about them. But again, these are our personal lists, what we think of them. We're going to throw some honorable mentions out there, go through 5 through 3, number 2, and then number 1. Jacob, I'm going to shoot it to you first on this one, man.
Dishonorable mentions?
Yeah, we could say dishonorable mentions. That's not a bad idea. So go ahead and give some dishonorable mentions, and then 5 through 3.
So a couple movies that almost made my top 5 worst of the year. And the thing is, I was telling you, there's not a lot of movies that absolutely suck for me this year. But these ones almost are that. The one of them is The Mummy. I was excited for The Mummy. I was like, cool. And I love shared cinematic universes. Give me a bunch of those. I don't care. But that movie just was terrible. And they tried to force so much comedy into it. And it just, Tom Cruise, The Mummy, I thought I was going to like it, but I didn't. It was just bad. And then another one is Ghost in the Shell. I love me some Scarlett Johansson, but that movie was just so boring. It really was very boring.
With such rich material.
And yeah, that's what I'm saying. And like, it looked cool, but that's about it. It really was bad. But my number 5 worst movie of the year, so it's not the worst, but it's almost there, number 5, is The Belko Experiment. I don't know if you guys ever saw this movie.
I haven't seen it. I know he has.
So it was weird because I thought it was a cool idea. The trailers looked fun. And, you know, I think James Gunn wrote it. So I thought,
he wrote it, produced,
And the way it starts off very unique and unpredictable. But then it goes down the same route as every other movie that's like that. It's not really a horror movie. It's kind of just like gore for the sake of gore type movie. And it ends up going down like the same tropes. It's so predictable. And it was just a stupid movie. The jokes are dumb. So that is my number 5 worst movie. And my number 4, and I didn't think so at first, but after thinking about the movie a lot, my number 4 is All Eyes on Me. The Tupac film. Look, I'm a huge hip-hop fan. I grew up listening to hip-hop. Tupac's one of my favorite musicians of all time. This movie is almost a disgrace to him, honestly. And they had a music video director direct this film, which probably played into it. I think his name is Benny Boom.
Wow.
And this movie felt like a VH1, like homemade, like half documentary,
like a
half
hip hop version of a Lifetime movie.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it felt like. And like there were a couple moments, like nostalgic moments for Tupac, but overall, very disappointing. It really felt like a VH1 movie to me, like honestly. And my number 3 is Jigsaw. Did anybody see Jigsaw?
Oh, I have not seen it. No.
I was excited for it. I thought the first trailer was great, and I'm a fan of the first Saw, and I love the concept of Saw. So I thought this was going to be great, and this movie felt like a spoof of Saw. I don't know which scary movie it was. I think it was Scary Movie 4 that makes fun of Saw. I think that this felt like Scary Movie 4 at certain points. It felt like it was making fun of Saw. So those are my 5 through 3.
All right, so some dishonorable mentions for me. I got The Hitman's Bodyguard, the Ryan Reynolds, Samuel L. Jackson.
That's a dishonorable mention for me too. That movie was bad.
Yeah, it was just kind of all over the place. They tried to do something that they completely did not succeed in that. And the Penelope Cruz character in that movie,
terrible,
horrible.
Oh my god,
such a disgrace. Yeah, she's like a disgrace. And
she ruined it.
Not very good. And then another one, The Mummy, Tom Cruise. Jacob had talked about it. Just the idea of it was really cool, but they kind of just like tried to throw too much at us, which is kind of the theme of everything these days. If they would just let it have been a mummy movie, they had all the pieces there. You had Sofia Boutella as the mummy, which is a really cool thing.
She was great as the mummy.
Really cool, but they tried to do too much with that movie, and unfortunately, it just did not work. Another one is Transformers: The Last Night. This franchise,
that's an dishonorable mention.
Dishonorable mention. Wow. Because you'll see my 5. But this movie, it's atrocious, man. This franchise has become such a joke. It sucks because the first one is killer. It is so good, and then it just like topples down from there. And this movie just goes off the rails completely. The term "it jumps the shark." It literally jumps the shark in every way possible. But number 5, I actually have Baywatch as number 5. And the reason being is because it took the Baywatch name and made a sex comedy out of it. And that's not... I get that Baywatch has that sex appeal to it, but it's not a sex comedy. And you have someone like Dwayne Johnson in there who who isn't really known for his sex comedy. Zac Efron may be, but Dwayne Johnson isn't. I know you have Alexandra Daddario in there, who is a sex symbol, as well as Kelly Rohrbach, who is another sex symbol. It's just embarrassing what this movie tried to do. There's so many bad moments in it. The jokes just don't work. I remember sitting in a drive-in watching this and being like, what am I watching? Like, why am I watching this movie right now? Number 4, I actually have The Dark Tower, the Stephen King film. Such high hopes for this movie. So many problems with it in the beginning, but you have someone like Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey in the lead. You think it's going to be somewhat good. It wasn't. It was a disaster. It was an hour and a half long with this kind of material. It should be an extra hour long. Like, I just wish this, because I don't read the books personally, but I've heard such good things about it. The story is so rich. The material is so rich. Like, it could be something so cool. We saw what one Stephen King movie could do this year with it and what they did with it. And then we saw the complete opposite with The Dark Tower and how bad it could possibly be. So number 4 is The Dark Tower. And then number 3, A Dog's Purpose. And
I never saw
this movie, it's so heartbreaking in the worst ways possible, because the dog literally dies over and over and over again. And it's the same light, or the same dog inside of different dogs' bodies as you travel through the story. The dog literally dies over and over and over again, and you see it dying. There's one point, and personally I have a German Shepherd, there's one point where a German Shepherd got shot in front of the camera.
No.
And we also saw what happened with the behind the scenes stuff as they were forcing the dog into the water. That played a part in this as well. So A Dog's Purpose sits at number 3. Don't go see that movie, because you won't enjoy it at all.
I mean, I didn't see it now. It's on my list, but no. My dishonorable mentions, for me, I was not a fan of Fist Fight. It was boring.
Did you see that?
I think I did, yeah. Was that this year?
Yeah, Ice Cube, Charlie Day one.
It was...
That's how forgettable it was.
Yeah, it's another stupid...
I don't remember it.
Another one for me was the Netflix movie Death Note.
Oh.
The concept was...
Never watched it, but
the concept was awesome. I know a lot of people didn't like it because it was whitewashed. It clearly was, like, it to the max. The acting was horrible. Like I said, the premise was awesome. Just was not executed in the slightest. Did not enjoy it. It was pretty miserable to watch. For me, my top 5. Excuse me, I'm gonna say my bottom 5 movies of the year. We've got at number 5, the Lego Batman movie. That was, I'm sorry, that movie was one of the most forced humor.
You enjoyed that movie, correct?
I did, yeah. I disagree with you.
I know
I saw that one coming though, because you've been talking crap about that movie all year.
It was so forced, and I love me some Lego movie video games.
You liked the Lego movie, right?
Oh yeah, the Lego movie. Like, I'm waiting for that sequel, but the Lego Batman movie was just bad.
Okay, I will tell you this. When I first saw the movie, I loved it. And then when I heard you talk about it, I went and rewatched it, and I was like, you know what? I get what he's saying. So
yeah,
it's not great, but I still like it a lot.
Yeah. My number 4 is Free Fire. I know a lot of people liked that movie. I don't know what he's doing, because I'm pretty sure when we walked out of the movie, you hated it.
No, I didn't hate it, but I definitely, my anticipation was too high. It was in my top 10. So my excitement level was way up there.
I went into this movie not knowing anything about it. He called me, hey, let's go see a movie. Sure, let's go see Free Fire, whatever. It was horrible. The Irish guy was the only thing that got me through that movie.
I didn't like him. Charlotte Copley.
Yeah.
Okay, he's the only thing that got me through that movie, but we'll leave it at that.
Ben Wheatley, man, he's so good.
It was hard to watch. My number 3, I know I'm going to get a lot of crap for this, but The Disaster Artist was my number 3.
Still haven't seen it yet.
I haven't fallen asleep in a movie for a long time. I literally fell asleep in that movie. I was so done with the whole premise after 15 minutes of that movie.
Wow.
It was so boring to me. James Franco was awesome. I will say that, but the jokes in that, I was done with it after the first 20 minutes. But
wow. So after that, do you still want to see that movie?
Of course I do. Like, other people's opinions aren't going to make me not want to see a film, but I'm definitely going in skeptical because critics seem to love it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you guys were very disappointed.
I was disappointed with it.
It's in your bottom 5. Maybe we should call this
the bottom 5
of 2017. That's a good list.
Yeah.
Good name.
All right, so moving on to number 2, I'll go ahead and start this one off. And this is probably a film that neither of you have seen, and I will never, ever, ever recommend this movie, Okja. This is a next Netflix film. This is directed by...
Really?
You made me watch this.
This is directed by the director of Snowpiercer, which is... Snowpiercer is in probably my top 10 list of the last decade, that movie.
I like Okja.
This film, have you seen it?
Yes.
Okay,
I saw
so...
it too, and
I
this
like
film,
Okja.
and
Wow. That's
the concept of
surprising
this
to me.
film, I get it, I understand it. And, I was enjoying the movie halfway through, but then it got to certain scenes, and I felt like it took it way too far.
Okay.
And it made me feel very uncomfortable. I've never really felt uncomfortable while watching a movie. This is definitely one of them because of certain very violent and graphic scenes that happen in this movie. And I'm an animal lover. We're all animal lovers, and it's hard to watch when you see that kind of stuff. And
I get what you're saying.
And it's tough because I love Snowpiercer so much, and I've never had an extreme with the director. But yeah, Okja, number 2, solely because I just felt like the film went way too far in certain aspects.
Fair enough.
Okay. Well, my number 2 is Baywatch. That movie is a piece of garbage. It was my most anticipated comedy of the year. That's my style of comedy. I like the trailers. I love The Rock. I love Zac Efron. I thought it was going to be amazing. I thought it was going to be in my top 10 movies of the year, like just going into the year. And it was absolutely terrible. It's not funny at all. And I think The Rock can do sex comedy, but they just wrote terrible jokes for him to do, and just there was no story or anything. Like it just didn't even make sense. And yeah, it was just disgraceful film. I hate it.
My number 2 is The Bye Bye Man. Another one I almost fell asleep through. It was so stupid.
I don't think either of us have seen it.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either.
My friend made me watch a horror movie with him. We picked this one, and it was so stupid I was laughing. It was a comedy at the end of it. The fact that they can't say the word "bye bye man," and even if they think it's ridiculous. It was dumb from the beginning, dumb to the end, and I still somehow don't even know why it's not my number 1. But the number 1 that I had was way worse.
What's your number 1?
My number 1 was actually Jacob's number 5, The Belko Experiment.
I
It
haven't seen
was
this
garbage
so
movie.
stupid. Like you said, the concept was awesome. I thought, you know what? Lock them in a room or a building, 60-something people, and say, like, one of you's getting out. Awesome. It went from that to absolute trash. It was... I couldn't believe I finished the whole entire movie. It was...
I was in the theater. I had to.
I watched at home.
It wasn't bad enough to walk out.
I was at home. I got to go do other stuff probably and come back and try to finish it. It was horrible. The acting was horrible. It was a gore movie. They were trying to be Saw.
It was stupid. I mean, I don't want to go into spoilers, but the way it ends,
it's
so
dumb.
That sucks because James Gunn is usually really, really good with those small movies.
Yeah, and the
like
type
Super,
of movie,
like Super,
exactly.
is almost
or like
kind of
Sliver
similar
and
like
stuff
that.
like that. Yeah.
Don't waste your time. That's my bottom 2.
All right, so number 1, this is probably one that we're gonna have to debate, but I actually have Mother at number 1.
Wow.
I know that you enjoyed this movie.
Yeah, I didn't love it or anything like that.
But you definitely liked
I appreciate it. Yeah, I did like it. I did.
It is the only movie I have ever walked out of.
You walked out.
I walked out of it. I've never been... I just talked about Okja and being uncomfortable. I never hated a movie more than Mother.
Wow.
And
that's crazy.
I understand what Darren Aronofsky was trying to do. I mean, you have Jennifer Lawrence, Javier Bardem, Ed Harris, and Michelle Pfeiffer in this movie. You're like, okay, this movie's going to be phenomenal. Maybe my expectations were a little too high, but I understand what Aronofsky was trying to do with the movie, but to me, personally, it came off in all of the wrong ways. And
I see what you're saying.
and I don't want to get into spoilers, but the whole rave thing near the end of the movie,
I thought that was hilarious.
That's where I walked out.
I
I could not stand it. I could not.
I just like
stand
seeing things I've never seen before, and there's things I've never
Oh
seen before.
no, so do I. So do I. But that took it to a level where I just couldn't stand.
I understand why you don't like it. Yeah, I really do. My bottom number one is by far the worst movie of the year. There's no question about it. I don't see how anyone could think differently. It's Transformers: The Last Night. That movie
Didn't see it.
It's not even
so
a
bad.
film.
So
it's
bad.
not even a film, and we're not going to spoil anything. But if you know what the pivotal moment in the movie is, the twist, the reveal, you know what I'm talking about. Is honestly probably the worst reveal I've ever seen in cinema history. That movies that I've seen, it's terrible, and they just need to stop. I mean, actually, I'm excited for the Bumblebee movie. I'm still excited for that movie because of the director and what they're doing. And it's going to be in the 80s or the 90s. Yeah, so I'm excited for that. But still, they need to reboot the Transformers proper because this movie was terrible. When you find out who the Last Night actually is.
Yeah, Brian, going into the movie,
hilarious.
who do you think the Last Night
And
is?
we can spoil it. I don't even care.
the obvious guess would be Optimus Prime, but
It's not a Transformer.
then
It's a human.
I really don't give a crap.
Yeah.
If it's not a
It's
Transformer,
not a
then
Transformer.
All right, yeah. It's,
I'm actually
Anyways.
surprised none of our lists have Pirates of the Caribbean on it.
I didn't think it was terrible.
it was
didn't-
not terrible.
I did not watch. I could not get past the first 30
Really?
minutes.
Really?
I actually kind of liked it.
Yeah, it was
All right.
not terrible.
Maybe it's
Yeah.
just me.
All right, so let's run through that list one more time. I'll go ahead and start off. Number 5, I got Baywatch. Number 4, The Dark Tower. 3, A Dog's Purpose. 2, Okja. And 1, the trashiest film of the year, Mother.
My number 5 bottom movie is The Belko Experiment. Number 4, All Eyes on Me. Number 3, Jigsaw. Number 2, Baywatch. And definitely the trashiest film of the year, Transformers: The Last Night.
Well, my bottom 5 is the Lego Batman movie at number 5, Free Fire at number 4. I know you guys are just hating me on this. Disaster Artist at number 3, Bye Bye Man at number 2, and the crappiest movie of them all, The Belko Experiment.
You know, what's funny is when you were going in your number 1, there was a part of me that thought you were going to put Wind River at number 1.
No.
That's what I was thinking.
No.
There was a
Wind
part
River
of
was
me-
not horrible. It was just
You just
slow.
didn't enjoy it.
Just a little slow for my life.
All right, well, that's going to wrap up our 2017 videos, our top 5, bottom 5 movie of the years, I guess we could say. This is Jacob, that is Brian, I am Jake. Check out everything else we got going on. We got top 5 films of 2017, top 5 geek films of 2017, as well as our most anticipated 2018 films, which will be coming out in about a week or so. Thank you for watching, and until next time, see you later.